everything that I went through, I cannot think of anything in my life
that didn't serve purpose.
Because
they gave me last rites. And I told them I work. I'm off 3 days, so they could pick their religion. Whatever worked, that was good. But then when I went back in, the minister, a rabbi, and an omen showed up. I said, "What are you, the angel of death? Help me understand."
You need it all.
Hello. I am Dr. Yvonne Beckford. Welcome to my podcast, The Blue Zone, The Power of Now, The Currency of Time. Before I start, I want to read this quote from George Bernard Shaw. He was born in 1857. There's a saying, same story but different actors. This is a quote from him. "This is the true joy in life. Being used for purpose, recognized by yourself as a mighty one. Being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it what I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of a splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations." This man lived to be 93, 97. Again, I am Dr. Yvonne Beckford. I am a graduate of Georgetown University School of Dentistry in 1984. I am now a podcast host. I'm an educator. Clearly, I'm a clinician, teacher, and a bon vivant. Okay, I am so thrilled to welcome my guest, Dr. Alisa Nelson Wade. She is a friend as well as a guest. She is a native. I'm gonna tell you all her accolades because it's deep, man. This she's the real deal. Okay, she's a native of Atlanta. Okay, we got a real deal here, really born here. A native of Eatonton, Georgia. Dr. Alisa has shared her message of perseverance and success in churches, classrooms, seminars since 1999. She continues to teach young men and women of color how to successfully pursue the journey to their destiny. She is a very proud, deservedly so, graduate of Meharry Medical College School of Dentistry. That's where she received her doctorate in dental surgery in 1998. She was an associate professor in the Department of Periodontics, Oral Diagnostics at Meharry Medical. Over the course of her career, she's received many honors and awards. She is a member of the ADA, NDA, AGD, and, of course, Delta Sigma Theta. She is currently an associate minister, as well as a clinician, but she is currently an associate minister at Hopewell Northeast Baptist Church under the leadership of Pastor Gerard, so sorry.
Yes, okay.
Okay, Gerard and Vera Blanding. Her first book was celebrated in 2016. The first book was Imitating the Tree. The Journey to Your Purpose and Destiny. I've got it. I got to get her to sign it and, kiss it for me. It made Amazon's bestsellers list. Her biggest contribution is a wife of over 20 years to Sergeant Lawrence Wade, and she is the mother of Nicholas and Natalie, sweet Nat. She is committed to studying and expanding her depth and breadth of knowledge of Scripture, learning and mastering the art of wealth building, as well as venturing into commercial real estate. She is currently redeveloping her current practice to a location into a 20,000 square foot medical dental office suites. The grand opening will be in 2025. Hi, Dr. Wade.
Hey, Doc. What's
That's
going
my
on?
girl.
That's me. that's
I know.
me.
We need to be on one camera so we can hug up.
See?
Okay. Anyway, we're going to talk about purpose.
Yes.
Talk to me. What was your purpose in your 20s? What's your purpose now?
You know,
What's
it's different.
the future? Of
You know
course it is. It's evolving, my friend.
Purpose is the more you do what you are put here to do, the depth and breadth of your purpose grows, right?
Yeah.
So in my 20s, my purpose was literally to figure it out. Like, what is it that I want to do? What am I going to be? The good thing about me is, and in my first book, when I talk about imitating the tree, journey to your purpose and destiny, I had a good foundation. And I had a relationship with my family. You know, I'm
Big
a
time.
family's girl, right? And one of the most important people in my life, from early childhood, was my grandpa. And he was one of the trees that I described in Imitating the Tree. And he was an oak tree, right? And an oak tree is that tree that undergirds the family, right?
Protector.
The trunk is as big as it is because it serves a great foundation so that the tree and the branches can grow as big as they can without failure, right? That was my grandpa to me. And so I may have been about 3 or 4. My grandfather, as I grew up, I realized that he wasn't an educated man. He probably
Formally educated
man. Maybe got to the 10th grade, if he did. Drove the bus as a profession. He was a mechanic by profession. But he was gifted. You know, he could play music by ear. He could hear a song. He could hear you hum a song, walk to the piano, no formal lesson at all, and play it.
You can count on him.
And with his limited, he grew up in a time where even white people that were younger than him, yes ma'am, yes sir. That was the
good old days.
That was the culture. That was the time. That was when some people now think America was great. We probably have to cut that out. But
no, I'm keeping that.
But my grandpa, even with his limited knowledge of what it would take, even with his limited experience with education, even with his what we would consider shortcomings in life as far as not growing up with certain things, not having access to certain things. He looked at me when I was 4 years old. He said, "Baby girl, you're going to be a doctor when you grow up."
Ain't that something?
And I said, yes, okay.
That's called prophecy.
Exactly. And from that point on, that was my goal. So in my 20s, I had the luxury to have more of an outline of what my life would be than I guess the average 20-year-old. But even still, even with that outline, even with that template, right, it was still a lot of what is this? What is this? What is life? Where am I going? What am I supposed to do? Why am I doing this? It was, and I always tell young people, your teens, you have some of the biggest decisions that you have in your life.
That's the seeds.
At that time. With the least amount of knowledge and wisdom. At 18, 19, and 20, you have to decide what are you going to do with the rest of your life. And of course you can pivot.
Sure.
You know, people get into careers that they hate. But even, can you think of the pressure of that time? And if you think about, that was a lot of pressure to be 20 years old and figure out that you want to be in dental school, especially with you. I just saw the picture you showed me, right?
Yeah.
That was a lot of pressure. So my purpose in my 20s, it wasn't great. It wasn't grand. My purpose in my 20s, I believe, was just don't die. Let's make it to the 30s.
Direction.
Right? Where we going?
Right.
So that was my purpose in my 20s.
Right. Where are we now?
So now, right? So now I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in my
Cool
so
like that.
yeah, but so now it's good. Life is good now, right? Because I look back on my 20s and all of the things that I was setting the foundation for, now I'm starting to see them pay off.
Wow.
This is, and when you enter your 40s, and I wouldn't be 30 again now to save my life. I definitely wouldn't be 20 again, because now it's starting to make sense. Now, because now the wisdom is starting to match the experience.
Okay.
So now I can move through life now with a little bit more wisdom, right? And I always pray. I'm a King's kid. I'm a Jesus girl. # Jesus girl. And I always, even when I was younger and I didn't understand why, I would say, God, I want the wisdom of Solomon. And Solomon was so wise. Solomon had people. The Queen of Sheba would come and say, "Hey, Solomon, can you help me run my kingdom?" Queen of Sheba was one of the richest people ever in existence in the history. That's why we know her name. And she went to Solomon because she saw how Solomon ran his kingdom, and she was like, I got to get that. So I prayed for wisdom of Solomon, and now I'm starting to see that God did give me that through experiences, right? We just don't we don't ask for patience and get patience. When you ask for patience, you're gonna get them stumbling blocks that's gonna teach you how to be patient. So when I prayed for wisdom, I had to go through things that would make me wiser. So now in my 50s, I'm starting to see the seeds that I planted come through to fruition. That's why we have the group Sisters with Seed. Yes. Because now we're starting to get those seeds now that we're too old to, still be getting seeds, but now we're at the perfect stage where we can start planting those seeds and see those things that we're planting come to fruition. Yes. So that's why
that's a heck of a purpose. Now, the guiding light of your grandfather, but there are people who are given the guiding light and they don't take it. What made you different? Because it's choice.
It is. It's
choice.
I can't. You know what? And I won't say that it was just like some aura, some big light, and just that didn't happen. It was just that
you made a decision.
I made a decision, right? And I knew that I had people watching me, and I knew that I didn't want to fail those people that meant so much to me. Like I didn't want my granddaddy. I didn't want to fail him. If he could see that in me, you think about it. That's somebody. Think about if you saw somebody, I don't know, scuba diving. You've never scuba dived. You don't know what the pressure, the water pressure feels like at 40 feet beneath the sea level. You don't know how you have to breathe, but you can look at somebody and say, you're going to be the best scuba diver ever. You have no knowledge.
He prophesized.
He did. Yeah. He did. So
you're impressed that I can say these things, huh? Since the last time I was in church, I was baptized. But go ahead.
I'm not impressed, right? Because I'm not impressed because it's there.
Yeah.
Because once you have an encounter with Jesus Christ, it's gonna be there. Whether you're done one man water, one man plant,
sure.
God get the increase.
What'd you say?
One man water.
Because you got to break it down to me.
One man plant, and God gets the increase.
That's deep, man.
So somebody you've encountered him somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
And
I almost died. I encountered him big time.
You see what I mean? So that's a testimony. Right. So you give a testimony whether you frame it that way or not.
Right.
And there's a purpose in what you went through, and there's a purpose in everything, right?
Yeah.
And our primary purpose as people on earth is to be servant leaders and to glorify God in our service, right? That's my purpose. When you really ask me what is my purpose, that is it. Now, of course, there's some nuances in there that you move through, but that is our primary purpose. So. No, I'm. It's funny, but I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah.
Because Peter. You know Peter, right?
Yeah, that's probably my middle name.
He probably is. Peter was a bad. Let me tell you, but Peter was just as bad, and that's why God picked him.
Yeah,
that's why Jesus picked him.
Yeah,
because he needed somebody with that vibrato. He needs somebody
that might be because they gave me last rights. I told them I work I'm off 3 days, so they could pick their religion. Whatever worked, that was good. Whatever was good.
They picked the right one.
But then when I went back in, the minister, a rabbi, and an omen showed up. I said, "What are you, the angel of death? Help me understand."
You needed all of them.
I was covered. I was covered. Yeah, because as I've said off camera, I see religion as language, and I don't particularly think English is better than Spanish or German is better than French. If it works, who you are and what's your nourishment is all you need. As long as you're a good person.
Well, I'm not religious either. Right?
You're not.
And that's
you're the real deal.
Yeah, and
you don't pontificate. You live the word.
Yeah.
She really does. Yeah, you really does. So, what's your favorite childhood memory? We kind of tapped on.
Whoa. My favorite childhood memory. That one with my grandpa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. My childhood memory. Yeah. I've had some childhood memories because remember I'm from South.
Eatonton.
Yeah.
Eatonton, Georgia.
Now it's not a favorite childhood memory, but it's very poignant, and it was very telling, and it stayed with me for a while, right? And because it taught me at that time, no matter who you are, no matter how much I get, no matter how educated I am, no matter where I live, no matter what kind of car I drive, no matter what kind of house I live in, no matter what kind of business I own, I'm still a black woman in America. Yeah. And that was one time my mom we had gone with her to an appointment, because Eaton's a small town, so you go to the next town for go to the doctor and you go shopping. So that's a big thing. Yeah, you can get to go with mom.
It's
so
real.
we went to mom. So we were just hanging out while mom was in her doctor's appointment. Well, my brothers were small, so I am the oldest of 4. 3 younger brothers. I have a brother that's 9 years younger than me. I have a brother that's 11 years younger than me, who's a dentist, and my baby brother who's 16 years young. So all of them was there. I think maybe I had to be about 13, over 13, and so they were really small. And I was charged with watching them. So they were in the waiting area. Long story short, and they were reading the magazines. Right. And my brothers at that time, 3, 4, 5, because my mom is an educator, they could read. They would I call him the smartest. He's the smartest out of all 4 of us. He was probably reading when he was 2. And so they were literally reading the magazines, but this older white gentleman said, "Look at them niggas, tearing up the waiting area." So I got real quiet, and my brothers heard them, and they looked at me, and I said, "Well, if you see a nigga spit on one." By that time, my mama came out, because I had a little mouth.
I dare you.
Yeah, yeah. And he looked at us, but it did not matter, even though I was able to had the courage to say that. Didn't matter who I was. It didn't matter what. And that taught me that. So that's a childhood memory. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one that stayed with me a while, right? Sure. I would say my favorite childhood memory would be definitely time with my grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah, that color line doesn't see your wallet, and it's going to come back to bite folks. Yeah.
It doesn't see a wallet. It doesn't see an IQ score. It doesn't see a credential.
Nope. Nope. The race card. There's only one race, the human race, but that's just me. What's your biggest regret, my friend?
My biggest regret. Shoot it! I didn't invest.
I didn't know I was going to say that. I just was just thinking about it. Because there's good times, and sometimes we think twice. Yeah. Not that you had control over it, but
Shoot, not being one of them original investors in Apple. No, just kidding.
I know that's right.
I really don't have any regrets, because everything that I went through, I cannot think of anything in my life
that didn't serve purpose.
Right? Because if I didn't go through certain things, I couldn't teach certain things.
Exactly.
I couldn't help. I couldn't even, not even, if somebody could just see that I went through it or hear that I went through it, and she's still here, okay, I'm good. What I got to do? So really, I don't at this age right now, at this point, I really don't, other than that Apple thing, I don't really.
Other than that Apple thing.
Man, I'm like, man, he was in the garage. What?
Well, that tells you.
What them,
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, man, but that's my only regret.
What do you think people misunderstand about you? Like what do you think people misunderstand about you most?
Oh, well, see, now that's in my new book. You just trying to get me to talk.
Yeah, I want to tell you.
My new book is called The Unlikely CEO, right? So what people misunderstand about me is the power that I have.
Yeah, never assume.
And that's one of the chapters in the book is, what is your superpower? My superpower is I'm the underdog, right? And I can remember being in, CE courses, right? Where we have to go to CE courses, and we have to sit in, we have to lecture. And the lecturer would assume, and there's nothing wrong with it, that I was a dental assistant. Or they would assume, and they would walk past, even though I got Dr. Alisa M, big as on
right in the middle.
Yeah, and what you guys know about me, anybody who knows me, I don't lead with my title. Right, I'll sit in the room, and nobody will know what I do, because that's not.
You learn by listening.
Yeah, that's not me. That's not the essence of me. That's what I do. Right? Who am I? That's that's different. So being an underdog, and people underestimating my knowledge, my depth and breadth of knowledge, my ability to think. My ability to be a game changer.
I can relate.
But I like it. I like it because I'll sit there and I like you said, learn, and I listen, and I can observe the whole room, and I can see the weakest person, and I can see the strongest person, and I can take the strongest person head on, and then make the whole room, now it's mine. I'll take over their whole thing.
Usually the strongest person ain't saying much.
Well, they say wealth whispers.
So that must be why I'm so loud.
No. Y'all know better than. This my camera.
I'm demure.
I'm trying to be like demure.
I'm very demure.
This sister right here, I listen to her.
Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah, you are a mentor. So this is one of my things I tell people. Now, you might be my mentor. You just don't know it. And it's crazy.
I didn't know it.
You are. You are. I have several. Not a lot, but I have several that they're my mentors. And I say, okay, this is what. Okay,
that's so
I want to
sweet.
do that. I got to follow her. This is, yeah.
Well, that's sweet. I appreciate it. You just never know. You never know whose impact that you have, and that's one of the reasons for the podcast is to. I thought people ask, but you don't get the word out, so to speak, and you know, volume and quantity is not always quality.
Exactly.
That might be why we're the type of clinicians that we are.
Exactly.
I did I'm getting into speaking. You're my mentor as far as that's concerned. That you just, you know, underestimating folks and being a seed and be able to share a message, which a lot of people do when they do podcasts. But one of the things I said, I became a better clinician because I was a patient.
Exactly.
And
I love it. That's deep.
And when you've been a patient, when I gave a graduation speech to support staff, medical assistants, dental assistants, and they had said something about, you know, it could be your aunt, it could be, you know, a relative you treating as a patient. I said, it could be you. It could be you. It could be you.
Right.
I said that, you know, I survived an 8-hour surgery with a 30% chance of survival. The surgeon did their job. It was two of them, Mother's Day, for 8 hours. My rehabilitation was by nurses, the dietitian, or the housekeeper coming into the room, and you know, you got your soap, girl.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting up. So we're all in this together, and you know, a leader is not alone.
Exactly.
A boss is alone.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I'm so deep.
That's deep.
I can't even.
A leader
let me write that down. What I said.
A leader is not alone.
A leader is not alone. A boss is alone, and you know, we've got to be on it. So back to my shameless plug, folks. Okay, so we're talking about the blue zone of quality of life, and I you know, it's more than a book. It's a philosophy to me, and you know, and I repeat it before. What determines a third world country is whether you think a cup of water or a cup of oil is more important. As wealthy as Saudi Arabia is, they're paying millions and millions of dollars to India for what? Water. You can't drink oil. You know, you can't live without sleep.
Yep.
You can't live without eating, but you can live without oil. Just don't be in the North Pole. Anyway, so with my retreats, this is what I wrote, and I can't remember it because things just come off the top of my head. Why I like the idea of retreats and I like the idea of these podcasts is because I'm going to talk to folks. Obviously, I know folks in dentistry, but I'm going to talk to everybody. A retreat is a connection of purpose. When the scenery changes and the guards are down, honesty of commonality and authenticity flourishes. I found that listening, which I'm doing right now, to hear and not to respond flourishes as well. Diversity retreats of occupation, age, gender, and culture recognizes the community of commonality, of frustration. It nurtures solidarity of understanding and viable solution in a relaxed, non-confrontational, and confidential environment. Kind of like dentistry. You know, the tooth hurts. Ain't nobody care who you are.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I came into private practice, to echo the unfortunate circumstance of the waiting room with your brothers. Most obstacles I faced in dentistry came from people who wore white coats. We shared the same profession. But my patients, regardless of age, gender, or commonality, that tooth hurts. I don't care who you are.
There you go.
And I've got them of every for 30 plus years.
Yes.
You know, so that's the true meaning of family to me. And I appreciate you so much I could just squeeze you.
Aww.
What y'all do later? I'll do later. Talk to me. How can everybody reach you? And
So of course I'm on all platforms. Facebook, I think I am Dr. I might be the Dr. Alisa on Facebook.
You
or
are the
Dr. Alisa on
You
Facebook.
should be.
I know I am on Instagram. Facebook, I think I'm Alisa,
Right.
Dr. Alisa Nelson Wade, or Lisa Nelson Wade on Facebook. And the same on Twitter. And also you can Comfort Dental Studio.
Right.
Grayson, Georgia.
Yes.
Yep, that's where my practice
And
is.
y'all need to come rent some space because you ain't taking up 20,000
Oh
square
no,
feet.
no,
20,000 square feet.
No,
shoot.
no.
Yeah,
no.
we need
So
some
we have
lawyers out there.
Yeah, we need tenants. So we're working. We've locked in a major hospital group here in Metro Atlanta area.
Okay.
So we're just doing the lease negotiations. Like literally a few minutes ago, I got some notes from the attorney about some of the things that we are doing with the lease. So hopefully we're simultaneously doing the lease while we're working on the construction
Yes, yeah, that's smart
agreement.
business.
Yeah, it's a
Smart
lot though.
business.
I don't know who told me to take this on. I was like,
But we're gonna take on something else. We're gonna get into sleep.
Okay.
We want to bring it to the people the way hypertension and diabetes is.
Yeah.
Alpha Sleep Center of
Yeah.
Atlanta. We're gonna change this up because
Okay.
our race, the human race, is
Yes.
dying for lack
Yeah.
of sleep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna throw that in there, and I might lease a corner, maybe on the first floor somewhere.
Okay, first.
Yeah,
floor.
we're gonna handle this
We'll
sleep
get it
thing.
done.
We're gonna get it done because we can save lives. Dentistry,
Yep.
this is our area, and you can live longer without
Yep.
food than you can without sleep. And it's dangerous out there. I particularly have been treating a lot of our truckers.
Oh yeah.
Y'all want to make sure that they sleeping enough. Y'all out on that road.
That's one of the issues that first of all, as soon as I get this this first real estate project, because we've been approached now for another one, but as soon as I get this done, I'm retiring my husband because he's a police officer, and sometimes even now that he's in a more of a leadership position, he will still have to work nights. And we discovered he had because he's not he's the consummate morning person.
Right.
He's actually, the funny thing about it, he's my granddad in my husband's form. He reminds me so much of my granddad, it is scary.
That's good.
And he'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's his time. He's a morning person.
Right.
So when he has to work nights, his biorhythms are off. His sleep is off, and he actually discovered diabetes because of him being on night shift and his sleep cycle, everything got thrown off. So to your point, sleep is that untapped,
Yep.
uncharted area that in dentistry that needs to be navigated.
Especially for people of color.
I was just going to say we're the last people.
ones
We're the first to die from it, but we're the last one
to know about it.
know about it and to get treatment.
And it doesn't have to be a CPAP. That's
It
what
doesn't.
we do.
And it can be we can catch it early enough that it's now preventative instead of therapeutic. There's a big difference than that.
Yeah, that's our PSA. We want to get the word out, and we're gonna rock this because we're always,
She always got me working.
Now I got to get you working. Shoot, I'm not going to be the first one to take the COVID shot, but I ain't going to be the last.
That's why she gonna always be my mentor.
I love you to pieces.
I slide out of that bed tomorrow.
Okay, well, the Blue Zone, the power of now, the currency of time. Our plug, what's my plug? We got a retreat coming up in April 2025, the weekend after Easter. It's the 25th to the 28th on cruise ship this time. We're going to have a weekend discovery on Utopia. So it will be, the link will be on the podcast link. You can always find me on www.spa-and-smiles. Make it nice and quick. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You're going to see a lot more of me. I ain't going nowhere. Okay. Signing off.